What's up, YouTube? This is Mike and Nick from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Underground here, bringing you our deck profiles from ARG Des Moines this weekend. I top 8'd, Nick top 16. We played pretty much the exact same deck.
Two cards difference.
Two cards difference, and that was only in the side deck. So we'll go ahead and get into the deck profile here, and then we'll talk about our matchups in the tournament and stuff. So we played Shadow Artifacts. We played 2 Hedgehog, 2 Falco, 2 Squamata, 2 Beast, and 3 Dragon. That's probably the biggest difference in our deck from like any other deck. Is kind of Jeff Percher's idea, but the 3 Dragon is really good. In like every matchup, especially mirror matches, you win the mirror match by just getting in for damage as quick as possible, and being able to like use Hedgehog to search out a Shadow Dragon just to give you like more attack is really, really powerful. Also really good against Satellas.
Yeah, I played 2 Satellas and Dragon. Just being able to attack over their monsters before they can alpha anything you do is critical. So
plus this over the 3rd Beast too, it gives you more outs to like Burning Abyss that main deck like Vanity's Fiend and stuff, which there was a lot of this weekend. So I mean, just plus blowing up cards, being able to, since we played Artifacts, being able to like shadow games a Dragon to blow up our own Moral Tech, like.
The only thing that was really bad about the 2 Beasts is when you drew 1, and you only had 1 more to use mid-late game. That was the only thing.
Yeah. Then we played 3 Mathematician and 1 Armageddon Knight. Basically, how I thought about it is we just needed like more like turn 1 normal summon monsters, which is kind of like why I wanted the Armageddon Knight in there. So, I mean, that's really all there was to it. The Mathematician was amazing.
This is just good for being able to go Armades.
Yeah, like Armades is like one of the best cards in like the mirror match or against Burning Abyss. So being able to do that, or Geargia too, I guess. I kind of forgot. I didn't play any Geargia, so I didn't have to worry about that. So those are those. Then the 3 Moral Tech and BLS. I don't know. We didn't really feel like playing Beagle. We just figured that the 3 Moral was enough. And
yeah, I thought just playing the 3 Moral worked out really well. Even when you draw them and you have them for fusion, for the fuse from hand, and I mean, obviously, if you draw more Morals than you do Sanctums, it sucks, but it's not worth playing more inconsistent cards.
Yeah, and there, like I said, you always have Shadow Games for Dragon, like pop that if you really need to, and then you can fuse with it when it's on your board. And BLS is just like one of the best cards in this format. So that's 19 monsters.
Wins games.
And then the spells, we played 3 Shadow Fusion, Foolish Burial, Soul Charge, Allure, and Super Poly.
The only thing that would be different is that if we cut that, but
yeah, this was like one of the like, iffier cards all weekend, but we side it out pretty much, I'd say, like every game.
I side it out a lot, yeah.
But like game 1, like I won a lot of games where I was able to like Soul Charge Volcasaurus and stuff. So, I mean, it's really good, it's just like not like the best card in the deck.
Mostly just because it's only good if you have 5s.
Yeah.
It's not good to make. The only good 4 to make is Chain. Because at one point I Soul Charged for 2 and had to make Castel just so I could have the bigger body.
Which isn't really optimal.
No.
So that's 7 spells. Here are the traps. We have Triple Sanctum, Triple Shadow Games, 2 Breakthrough Skills, 2 Wiretap, 2 Emptiness, and Warning and Compulse. Some of the notable things about here, these are really, the top row is really obvious. The Breakthrough Skill, we just wanted.
It was MVP.
It was one of the best cards all weekend. Like every top table is like had Breakthrough Skill, and
the amount of artifacts I had to play against.
Yeah, like so many decks play artifacts now. Like Breakthrough Skill, you just need that. Plus, like being able to stop like a Pleiades or something on your opponent's turn.
Or an end phase Shadow Games. I had a guy end phase call the Haunted and Deneb against me and not realize I'd break through, and he got so far behind from that he scooped it up just so we could go game 2 because he had no cards in hand.
And then Wiretap is amazing. We figured when we were making our deck for the tournament that we'd be playing a lot of mirror matches, a lot of Sanctum, like didn't matter what the deck was, a lot of Sanctum.
Yeah.
And being able to Wiretap a Sanctum is very, very powerful, as well as being against Burning Abyss, being able to Wiretap their Karma Cuts, Wing Blasts, basically anything to keep your big monsters on board. That's how you beat Burning Abyss.
And then being able to Wiretap Alpha. If you stop an
yeah,
Alpha,
if you stop
win.
Alpha, it's over.
The only card that we're iffy on is Warning. I thought it was good, but it could have very easily been the third Emptiness and probably been a lot better.
Yeah, the whole tournament, like, I felt like I was, like, missing out on Emptiness because I only played 2. But, I mean, 2 was good. Like, I still drew it, but having 3 Emptiness would have been just, I don't know, just safer, I think.
Yeah.
So that's 14 traps, 40 cards in the main deck. We'll do extra deck. For the XYZs, Lavalval Chain, Excydonite, and Castel for the 4s. And then Volcasaurus and Pleiades. With these...
I only ever went this, and I didn't even go Volcasaurus. I only went Castel, and it wasn't... The only time was round 2 against Giga to put back Soul Drain. And I didn't even need to do it. I had enough damage where I could have beat him without it. It was just safer play.
I think... I didn't make any of these, but I made Volcasaurus. Like, I won like 4 or 5 games day 1 with Volcasaurus, so... All because Soul Charge, too. Like, this card is just really good. It steals a lot of games that you probably shouldn't win. Lavalval Chain is really good. When we talked to Kyle about this card, like, just being able to, like, basically resolve any of your shadow effects that you want, as well as, like, stacking, like, important cards like BLS or something. Like, it's just... It's really good. It's too good not to play, I think. For the Synchros, we have Armades, Goyo, Arcanite, Black Rose, Michael, and Leo. These are all really standard.
They're all just so powerful.
Yeah.
Everything. This is probably the weakest card, and if Black Rose is your weakest card, then you know it's a pretty good extra deck.
And then we played 2 Winda, 2 Construct. Since we only played the 3 Morals and the 1 BLS for lights in like the main deck, we were okay with only playing 2 Construct. And
I never needed it. I only ever went at most 2 in one of this. I never went all 4.
Yeah, I never needed 3, but so 2 is fine. 2 is good. And then side deck, we have 2 Puppet Plant, 2 Forbidden Lance, triple MST, Mind Control, triple Rivalry, and then the card that was different for us, I played 2 Dirge, and
I played 2 Mischief, but it ended up not mattering. I sat it in once against Giria and took it out for game 3 and never put it back in.
Yeah, all the matchups I wanted to side Dirge in against, like I wanted to side other cards that were better, like against Burning Abyss, like I just like Rivalry so much more.
And Lance.
And Lance
Obviously,
is really
MSTs.
good. You need MSTs. Like there's so many cards that I need to side in. Like this just ended up being the card that I didn't.
Yeah, and when I played Satellas, I wanted these and this over Mischief for me, just because. I mean, it's already a good matchup. You don't really need more help.
And then the last 2 cards is the card that I sided in every single match.
Yeah. Yep.
Double Mirror Force. This card is absolutely MVP of the entire weekend for me. Probably you too.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And people are asking, like, why do you not, if you're going to side this in every game, why not main deck it? Mirror Force, just the surprise factor of siding this in game 2 is very powerful. And you're playing Shadow Artifacts, so they're not going to want to, like, blind MST, Dragon Pop, like, your back rows or anything on your turn because they don't want any of your effects to go off. And plus, we don't, normally the decks don't play any, like, defensive traps anyway.
Yeah, so when you're playing a mirror match, they'll go off and attack, and I blew a Shadow player out of the water with Mirror Force blowing up 4 cards.
Yeah. Plus, we just needed more outs to, like, Majesty's and Vanity's Fiend, which these absolutely did. And in, like, my top 16 when I played Desmond, Mirror Force was just, like, amazing. Even though he knew I played the card, like, he had to summon Fiend and try to, like, get in there, and Mirror Force did it. The same reason with Lance, too. You just got to be able to beat over the Fiends.
Yeah.
So, that's it for the main deck. I guess we'll talk about our matchups a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I ended up playing 2 Satellas, which I just destroyed them. It wasn't, I mean, it's an easy matchup, like I said. And then I played 2 Gigia, and both of them were main decking Soul Drain and Shadow Mirror. And I beat the one round 2 because I set Dragon and Squamata for 3 turns and just kept blowing his cards up until he ran out of resources. And then the other one I beat because I double wiretap for his face down double wiretap when he tried to stop my shadow games. I played Mermails. I beat it in like 10 minutes. My one loss in Swiss was to Burning Abyss, Artifact, Shadows, 60 card deck. It was a feature match in round 6. And he just, the beginning of the end, draw 3 cards, and he had too much advantage on me. And then I beat Shadow Artifacts in round 7, which was actually the exact same main deck as we were playing, and almost the exact same side deck. So we both knew what we were playing, but I beat him because I sanked him for a Moral Tech when he attacked, and he didn't know he could break through from Grave, so I destroyed his Construct, and he forgot to add Fusion back too, and so that's the only reason I won. Then top 16, I lost to Fletcher Thomas, who got second place playing Shadow Artifacts with Beagle and Ignition. And game 1, he just had all the artifacts to stop me. In game 2, he Foolish Burial for Squamata, Beast, and then ripped BLS with Emptiness in hand, so I couldn't come back against it.
Then my matchups, I played Burning Abyss round 1, Satella round 2, and then round 3 I played Jackie, who ended up top 8ing also. She played Burning Abyss, I beat her. Shadows round 4, I played Satella Artifacts round 5, which was Steinman. I beat him 2-0. Then round 6 I played Shadow Abyss, which was Zach Leverett. I think at that point, after round 5, the two of us and Zach Leverett were like the only undefeateds.
Yeah.
So
because I played the guy at the draw.
Yeah. Like, the whole tournament, we got really lucky. We had the exact same record the entire tournament, and we didn't have to play each other once. So that was really nice. But I lost to Zach in like a really close game 3. And then round 7 I played against Shadow Artifacts, who was another guy that made top 16, so that was good. He was able to do that. So at that point I was 6-1, and I played Parker round 8, but we just drew. And then in top 16 I played Desmond Johnson, and he was playing Shadow Abyss, same deck that Zach was, and I beat him in time.
Thanks to Rivalry.
Thanks to Rivalry, was just amazing. He couldn't, and he had like double Majesty's Fiend in hand. He just couldn't deal enough damage to win, and that's pretty much all there was. And then I played Jordan Winters, who's playing Burning Abyss, who won the whole thing in top 8, and he had MST for my rivalries, my emptiness. Every time I tried to stop him, he had MST, so he played really well. He never, I don't think he made used his extra deck one time, and all my fusions were dead, so like he played really well, and he definitely deserved to like win. He played it perfectly, so yeah, so that's our little profile for our deck that we played at ARG Des Moines. Hope you guys like it, and until next time, guys, we'll see you later.